Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Deal with D and J. I'm your co-host, Jacob Pearl. Alongside me, a different D today. It is Drew McDonald with me. DJ's feeling a little bit under the weather. DJ, shout out to you. Get better, brother. But today, tonight, whenever you're listening, afternoon even, we got the Spinnaker Swiss Army knife himself, Drew McDonald. Drew, how are we this evening?
Doing great, Jay. I actually went to a Nationals game tonight. Saw James Wood hit a dinger to left field. So came back here off the post Nats win. Ready to talk some good football, some college football, NFL, all the ball talking.
Yes, a lot of ball to talk about. Week one of the college football slate. Let's just jump right into it, right? Talk a little college football here. Talk a little NFL towards the later part of the episode. If you want to skip ahead to that, feel free. College football, week one. Kind of recap here. Now, it was a great week one, right? We had a lot of great games. But I think if you're a casual fan, right, or let's just say you just started becoming a fan of like really heavy into college football in the last 2 or 3 years, this weekend may have felt a little underwhelming to some. You're not getting the high scoring games. There was a lot of unders, right? A lot of teams not scoring, like Texas, Ohio State. Let's jump right into it. Low scoring game. A lot of defense being played. Granted, I think these are going to be the two best defenses in the country when it's all said and done after what I watched. And man, Arch Manning looked bad. I think he looked like it was his first college start. He looked like he was out of sorts. He couldn't get into a rhythm. Overthrown dudes, underthrowing dudes, not hitting dudes in stride. Was just looking like he was all different types of confusion. But Julian Sain was the same way. He only completed 13 passes. He only had 137 yards. He wasn't asked to do a whole lot because I think Ohio State knew that they were going to get to Arch Manning.
Yeah, it felt like it was sort of like an outlasting between Ohio State and Texas. And you mentioned in the past episode with Amari about how it's a hard game for Arch, who's just getting his collegiate career in this lion's den of the shoe in the first game against the champions. It's like, what more can you have against him in this game? It's unfortunate that he didn't produce as we thought he would, but I think that it just shows how hard it is to play at the high level and as the Big Ten or SEC. But I definitely want to see if Arch makes some adjustments going forward to become a better quarterback as the season goes on.
I think he will. I think, we were talking to, Mari was on last week's show with DJ, and I hate to say it, but Mari, if you're listening, get wrecked, buddy. Called it. Called it. That Arch was going to struggle. And he did. I didn't think he would struggle that bad. That was rough. But it's a lot to ask of a guy to go to 100,000+ seat stadium in the shoe. Lee Corso, final headgear pick, his first love, right? All the ceremonies that are coming with the banner, right? And also the wide receiver core is just better on the Ohio State side. The secondary for Ohio State is legit. Legit. That secondary is very, very good, right? I think you're just asking a lot of guys to step up to that, especially a guy like Arch. Granted, I know he's a junior, right? And this is his third year. He should be ready for this moment, but like you don't know how to be ready for the moment until you're in the game. Like Garrett, like I think this is a really good dichotomy right here of experience and not experience, because we'll talk about Clemson, LSU, and let's talk a little bit about that. It's like Nussmeier, when they went down, he was never worried. He stayed true to the plan. He stayed true to everything, right? Stayed with the run game. He threw some excellent balls to Anderson, right? And he put his team in a position to win. Arch, I think, will get to that point, but Nussmeier is in his second season now? Maybe, I think, his third. This is Arch's first full season as a starter. Arch is going to get better, right? Now, if you're over here being like, Arch was never that good, this was the game for you to hop on your soapbox and preach that, because you're not going to have many more opportunities to do that. But if you're Ohio State, that's a huge win to get this early in the year, especially as dominant as they were.
Yeah, I think also, but I think with Arch, have that trial by fire, like maybe it's kind of like that balance test to see how he can like do with like the hardest team he possibly can, and it kind of like soften up as the year goes on and plays lesser teams. It kind of helps shape more his style of play, and he can definitely come out better on the other side.
Absolutely. Kind of jumping right into Clemson LSU, the second big slate of Saturday, right? Clemson, man, that offense really struggled in the second half. The run game was non-existent. Cade Klubnik didn't have a lot of time for what should have been a veteran offensive line, right, that he should have had. He had better receivers than he did last year. But Nussmeier, man, he threw some great balls. He stood in the pocket. He escaped the pocket. The defense for LSU, like, actually hanged in there and was a big bend don't break mentality. Brian Kelly shakes it off his back. I mean, what more can you say? Right? This LSU team, if they continue to play like this all year, they're a legitimate national championship contender. I think Nussmeier is that good. I think when you look at Nussmeier, you look at, I'm not going to say Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow at LSU was special, right? But you're seeing a lot of the similar traits of an LSU quarterback that's primed to break out. Uses his feet super well, stays in the pocket, throws the ball with precision. That's what I like to see from my quarterback. I think he uses his legs when he needs to. I think he doesn't put his team in bad positions. And granted, it's a one-game sample size this season, but it looks like he learned his lesson from last season to not – he can't be the guy to put his team in bad spots. He has to be the guy to prevent them from going down like bad ruts on the defensive side, keeping the offense on the field, letting the defense gets rest. Throw the ball away instead of forcing a ball. He had a couple balls I didn't like, right? But every quarterback's going to have that. But Clemson defense was okay, wasn't great. Quite worried about the pass rush, even more worried about the secondary. But they're in a pretty weak ACC, so I'm not too worried about that.
It's kind of a boring answer, but it's almost like complimentary. We have a really great Nussmeier game. Also, they had a great running game with 108 total yards in that game. And then the defense held Clemson to 31 yards on the ground, which is like ridiculous. 31 rushing yards for opposing offense. Definitely, I guess they missed football, I guess, from last year because I think I was a dog for them last year at running back. So just having the complementary of the good run defense and a ground offense shows how they kind of had those two phases execute well. And you can see it kind of helps. The difference is that defense definitely kept the Tigers away from getting the momentum in the running game.
Agreed. I think we'll see these two teams again. I think they'll probably run into each other again. Talking about the next big top 10 matchup before we jump into the biggest upset of the weekend. Miami Notre Dame, probably the best game out of the three if you're talking about pure entertainment value. That game rocked. Miami looks dominant. Offense looks good. Carson Beck slinging a rock. Malachi Toney, dog. He is, right? But again, you're going down to, experience versus a true freshman quarterback in CJ Carr. The Notre Dame pass rush has to get home. They didn't really get home a ton. I expected the secondary to be a lot better than what they were in this game. The Miami defense was much better than what I thought they were too. Bain on the defense was phenomenal, right? Carson Beck easily put everybody in a position to succeed, put everyone in position to win. He threw maybe a couple bad balls. Did he have an interception in that game, Drew?
He had no interceptions.
No interceptions. That's great against a great Notre Dame secondary. The run game between Brown and Fletcher was dominant, man. Getting 5 yards a carry, essentially, in the latter part. That drive to open the second half, eating up like 8 minutes of game time, like, that's a man drive. Notre Dame, go ahead.
I had a freezing cold take, Jacob. I thought that Carson Beck was going to fall on his face in this game. I was like, you know what, Lombardi, Kane's going to lose. Sorry about it. You're done. But unfortunately, they beat Notre Dame. I can't stand it. But definitely, Jacob, I couldn't stop watching that highlight. That one-handed catch was ridiculously like a Madden play. It was ridiculous.
I'll tell you right now, I saw some things on Twitter where it was like the game has changed so much. Because if that's me, I'm putting my shoulder through his head to make sure he doesn't come up with that ball. versus the Notre Dame guy was going for the interception, and the guy goes, "Give me that
Like
back."
Montez perfect.
Yeah, just Ray Lewis across the middle types of dead. Like, I'm killing. Like, I'm going for the head. I'm going for the kill.
Like
I need
NFL
it all.
Street.
Exactly. You're gonna end up like Tua. Just
Jeez. All right.
I hope everyone plays safe football. Let me
Yeah.
preface that. But
Yeah.
going back to the Notre Dame side, Jeremiah Love struggled really, really bad on the ground. He also tried to hurdle everybody towards the like. Did you watch that where he was trying to like hurdle everybody
It
towards the
was a
latter
problem
part
for
of
sure.
just hitting the Y button? I thought he was fine. CJ Carr, man, earned my respect because when the team was down 14, he stuck through it. He made some great passes. He used his legs, put his shoulder down. He got blown up on a play and stood in there. Got right back up. The only thing I can say about CJ Carr, and this is where I think the freshman quarterback came out of him, you can't take intentional grounding calls when you're trying to march down the field and go win, right? I get not eating the sack, but like just if you know you're going to get sacked, throw it. Like sling it as hard as you can. And granted, that might be harder than it looks for someone like me sitting behind a microphone, right? But that's my only kind of critique. I thought he did good. Everyone's going to talk about the interception. The guy blew up the screen pass. Don't know what more he can really do there. Like, yeah, maybe don't throw it. But I think at that point, by the time he's throwing it, the guy's blowing up the screen. It's kind of just like one of those things where it's a game of literally seconds and inches, right? So I think CJ Carr's a dog, man. He looked really good for what I like to see out of a quarterback. Wide receivers are fine. I think Notre Dame's going to be fine. They get better as the year goes on too. So I'm not incredibly worried about Notre Dame.
Like Carson Beck only had 205 yards in that game. Like there's not like jump out the page numbers, but do you think that he will progress more as the season goes on this year?
Carson Beck, you're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
I think Carson Beck can get better, right? I think we're going to look at a couple Carson Beck games where we're looking at 350 plus passing yards from him. Like I think, but again, the ground game is great. How many yards did he have on the ground, Drew?
They had 127.
I don't need Carson Beck to throw the ball 300 yards when I'm getting 120 yards on the ground, right? I think he'll improve a ton. I think Miami's a perfect situation for him. The more I watch that game, Cristobal kind of got bailed out. The offense stalled. Notre Dame goes and ties the game, and then they go and kick the game-winning, the game-leading field goal. I think it was just a perfect game, like to watch as a fan. It was pretty enjoyable. I think Carson Beck gets better. I think CJ Carr gets mightily better. I think he gets so much better. Like he's just a freshman. And I loved what I saw from him in week one. Couple other games to note before we jump into a big upset. Auburn, Baylor. Auburn couldn't stop Jackson Arnold. They couldn't stop the run game. They gave up 300 plus yards on the ground. On the offense, you got to score points when you can. I think every Baylor fan knows this. If you're listening from Baylor, I'm just kind of speaking the facts here. Like we threw the ball really well. The run game really wasn't where we wanted it to be. Sawyer couldn't get out of the pocket and use his legs because Auburn had a QB spy. Kudos to Auburn, man. They got some talented people. I don't expect Jackson Arnold to do this every game throughout the entire year. The Auburn defense is pretty good. But outside of that, I'm disappointed that we didn't win. But I just want to address that the Jackson Arnold ran all over us, 140 yards from Jackson Arnold alone on, I think, 13 carries. So you can't have that if you're a defense, and I think a lot of people would agree with that sentiment.
But Jacob, how sick though was the Rush, Tom Sawyer, Robertson in the field that game?
That was pretty good. Did I send you that clip?
No, I didn't.
Did you was?
No, you told me about his intro in the last episode with Amari and DJ. I started seeing the clip you sent me though.
Yeah, so I said I'll include it in this here, but the offense came out and it was like, "Here comes the Bears," and it was Tom Sawyer by Rush, and you just hear the "Dear," and he's walking out in the gold helmet and the black. It was great. It was really good. Our
Woke up feeling
football
dangerous.
It was great. The juice was there. We just unfortunately couldn't win with all that juice. Moving on now. I mean, Alabama, Florida State. Let's dive into it. Right. Alabama got bully balled. There's no two ways about it. Ty Simpson looked terrible. He was like running for his life. Not only was he running for his life, he would then throw the ball into the ground while he was running for his life. He was doing so many things that didn't make sense from an Alabama quarterback that you're just kind of like, it's weird. I think if you're an Alabama fan, you're really frustrated because, again, you're so used to Nick Saban. But I think the playing field is just getting better. And, like, if you're not getting up there to it, it's what more can a guy do, you know? Like, the defense looked terrible from Alabama, which is normally surprising because they're normally the strong suit. Castellanos ran all over them, passed a bunch, too. The passing game for Florida State just was clicking on all cylinders, and Alabama just couldn't get anything going. And then things just started to get ugly, and you're just like, oh my God, please make it stop. Me and Hunter on the Green Dog podcast said it was going to be a massacre on the Alabama side. Like they were going to massacre Florida State. It was the vice versa. I think for Alabama, I think you got to give Kalen DeBoer a lot of time. Because let's be honest here, there's a lot of coaches who turn down the Alabama job because they know the pressure that comes with the Alabama job. Right? It's not like, it'll be like, nobody had the legacy and the precedent of a Nick Saban. It's like when Coach K retires. It's like when Roy Williams retires. It's like when Jay Wright retired. You have these legends of the sport retiring, and it's like, you're going to miss on dudes, right? Not sold on Hubert Davis at UNC. He's okay. John Shire's doing pretty good at, Duke. Kyle Neptune. Don't get me effing started on Kyle Neptune, right? Those are dark days. But you got to give DeBoer some time, man. I think they'll get better next year, and you got to let some of these Saban guys get out too, because some of these Saban guys are like, oh, new teacher, we could do whatever we want, and DeBoer isn't gonna coach like Saban. I don't think anyone's ever going to be as hard as Saban, but you kind of have to know what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? So give DeBoer some time. Don't run him. Also, his buyout's $70 million, so he's not leaving anytime soon. But in a town like Tuscaloosa, the noise will be deafening if they have a bad SEC year, which I think they will because Ty Simpson looked terrible. Ryan Williams looked terrible too.
It's tough to drop, to Vandy and almost an FSU. It's like having more asking you bad habits until like some kind of like as he gets hotter. So I guess we'll see how the year goes on.
We'll see how it goes.
I also want to shout out Haynes King, by the way. It's Georgia Tech fan here. Love the Yellow Jackets. They beat Colorado on Friday night. So if you saw this last part of the game, there was a minute left in the game. Tech was up by 7 points. Colorado had the ball with two timeouts left. Deion Sanders, 1 minute 6 seconds left in the game. Didn't use timeouts at all. A poor clock management by Deion looked like Anthony Lynn, the Chargers-esque. Did you watch that game at all, Jacob? Georgia Tech, Colorado?
No, because it was going on at the same time that I was working Baylor Auburn. So Haynes King just gets better when he's on the verge of death. So that's all I got. That's all I got from the Twitter mentions is that Haynes King just goes Super Saiyan when he is on the verge of, getting his knee blown out. So
He had 140 plus rushing yards, 140 plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Like crazy.
Crazy. Now, Drew, let's jump ahead and look at this week 2 slate. Nothing crazy, nothing super exciting, right? This one is a selfish one. We get the border war this week. Kansas and Mizzou playing for the first time since I think 2011, 2010. Ton of hatred there, right? You got Illinois and Duke playing, right? You get Altmaier versus Darian Mensah. The Illinois defense against a Manny Diaz defense. You got the Battle of Cyhawk, Iowa State, Iowa. Baylor, SMU is going to be another good one. And then obviously where College Game Day is going, Michigan at Oklahoma. Now, where do you want to start? Throw a pin at a dartboard. Tell me where you want to start.
Now, I'm really excited to see John Mateer this year, and I love that matchup between him and Michigan. So I guess from Jacob, from your point there, if you think it's a more dynamic quarterback in the matchup between Mateer and Michigan's quarterback?
Yeah, I think you're looking at both sides here, and you're looking at last year Jackson Arnold wasn't the guy. They bring in Mateer, who followed Ben Arbuckle, and man, Oklahoma looks good. John Mateer was slinging the rock, right? He had 392 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. I'm a little worried about the run game. Michigan ran the ball a ton. They also played a cupcake. They both played cupcakes. They're both going to play each other in a really tough matchup. Again, I think it boils down to the same concept that I have, which is a guy like Mateer will outplay a guy like Underwood, because Underwood, while he may think he's faced hostility, he hasn't faced this Oklahoma crowd, right? I think Michigan is much improved. I think the defense is still good, especially at quarterback. They're much improved than last year. But OU, the offense looked really good. They looked really smooth. I think this game's going to tell me a lot about both sides. But I'm super high on the tier, man. I think he's legit. I think he's got legs. Kind of reminds me of, like, I hate to say it, like Baker Mayfield a little bit. Can get out with his legs and throw the rock. He's fearless, kind of puts his shoulder down. But I like John Mateer. I'm not sure if I'm ready to give a pick, obviously. But if I had to, because people will listen to this on Friday, I like Oklahoma to come out on top in this one, man. I think when you look at it on paper, you're like, Michigan should win. But I think I just think being at home in these early season games matter a ton. So that's why I think I will probably ride with Oklahoma in this game if I had to.
Yeah, it could be kind of a maybe a Heisman kind of like list, kind of like, I don't know, watch alert if Hunter kind of goes off in this game. I think just by kind of my MO prediction for if he goes off, to be like, okay, I got to watch this guy for the possible top 5 voting.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes off, watch out, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of things going on, especially if he goes off. You're like, whoa, time to put maybe Oklahoma in the top of that SEC conversation. But I don't know. I'm also very hesitant on OU because I'm not sold on Brent Venables as a coach. I'm not sold on Sharon. Is he coaching this game, or is he suspended? I don't even know. I should probably know that. But I don't think he's suspended for this game. It is what it's going to be. I think Mateer being as dynamic as he is, I think will give Michigan a decent, a ton of fits. Yeah, I just think that's how it's probably going to go down. Is Mateer is going to really spike this OU offense and get aggressive here.
Or materialize.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Missouri, Kansas here, right? You got a battle of great quarterbacks. Bo Perbula, Jalen Daniels. The run games for both sides. Ahmed Hardy is legit. The defensive side for Mizzou looked really good, but again, they played Central Arkansas. Kansas hasn't played anyone either. They played Wagner and Fresno State, in the first 2 weeks. It being at Mizzou, again, will be a difference maker. And it's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. I'm going to that game, so I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to feel it. I think this is Bo's coming out party. I think Bo balls out. I think Bo establishes the run, especially with Ahmed Hardy. I think Kansas's defense isn't nearly as good as their offense, and as long as Mizzou can contain Jalen Daniels, like, everything's going to work out okay. And I hate KU, so I will never select them to win anyways. But
Yeah,
that's where I'm going is Mizzou in that one.
the current point total 51.5 should be a high scoring game. I guess they're predicting, so we'll see.
We shall see. Illinois, Duke, Iowa State, Iowa, Baylor, SMU. Quick previews on these. Darian Mensa, Luke Altmaier, a battle of great quarterbacks, right? I think Duke can really give Illinois a run for their money here. I'm really worried about Illinois in this game. Like, this is a big trap game, a big upset alert. But I think the Illinois offense and Altmaier is going to take care of Duke not mightily, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if this turns out to be a 2-score win for Illinois. Iowa State, Iowa. Iowa State by a ton. Iowa just runs the ball. The quarterback issue isn't fixed, but I like Iowa State, especially it being at home. Baylor, SMU. Again, if Baylor can stop a running quarterback, Baylor's probably going to win this game. But I'm not quite sure. Sawyer Robertson threw for 400 yards in the Auburn game and threw three touchdowns, and he lost.
Sounds very Bengals.
The defense has to step up for Baylor for them to win this game. If the defense steps up, Baylor wins. But if they don't, and Kevin Jennings has over 100 yards rushing, they lose. Simple as that. That is as simple as it gets for that game. That's kind of the week 2 slate in a nutshell. Kind of want to touch on it quick. Nothing crazy.
I also want to mention USF and Florida's. USF upset Boise State last week. Byron Brown is a monster. He's a big body dude who was knocking people out. It's like taking the ball. It's ridiculous.
Yep, that boy's nasty. That boy was nasty. He was laying the boom. He brings the boom to you.
Shout out to Justice.
Let's talk NFL week 1 slate here. Got a lot of games going over. You got Cowboys, Eagles, Chargers, Chiefs that open up Thursday, Friday, which will be good. Cowboys, man, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Trade away Micah Parsons. It's a great thing to do to your fan base right before the season starts. Yeah, I think the way Jerry Jones does business is shady and it's bad. And he's like, I just want to negotiate with the player. And Micah Parsons stood his ground. He's like, no, you got to interview with the guy who's my agent. That's how business is done. He chose not to, and here we are. Micah Parsons is now a Green Bay Packer, but apparently Micah Parsons now has a back injury. I view this as an easy win for Green Bay. Easiest one I've ever seen. 2 first-rounders and Kenny Clark, done. I give it to you yesterday. What are we doing? Congrats, Dallas. You get a couple extra first-rounders. None of them will ever amount to the success that Micah Parsons has had unless you strike gold. You know, Jerry Jones needs to retire. I think he's done. Unfortunately, though, he will not stop being the Cowboys owner and GM until he's dead. So, until that day comes, Cowboys fans, you are cooked. Jerry Jones has tried so hard to escape the past of Jimmy Carter was a coach, right? Not Jimmy Carter.
It's a president.
I know, not Jimmy. Who am I thinking of? Jimmy
Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson. Also a NASCAR driver, too.
That's true.
All right, smarty. Jimmy Johnson trading him away, and he's wanting to vilify and rectify the demons of the past and all that. I don't think, unfortunately for Jerry, that will come to fruition with the team that he has, trading away a generational prospect as good as Micah Parsons.
It's tough because like it's having your star player taking a nap like on the side, like it's a bad luck for the team, and like trading him to Green Bay and having his like pre-made like video already made on Twitter like 2 minutes after the trade gets announced is hilarious. So it's tough scene for Jerry, but I think a lot of folks are reporting with the Packers as a wildcard team, but other kind of legit like possible like NFC North winners. That could be definitely a big tipping scale moment for the Packers. But this trade,
we both expect the Eagles to win this game, right?
Unfortunately,
yeah. This would have already come out by then, but if they don't win, good for the Cowboys. Drew, me and DJ, we're going to start what we call the big 3 here, right? We're going to talk about one big 1 o'clock game, one big 4 o'clock game, and the Sunday night football game. And then we'll touch upon Monday Night Football. But the big 3 here is what we're going with. To you, what is your big 1 o'clock slate that you're looking at?
Do I show bias or no?
Whatever you want, my friend.
All right, bias it is then. We got the Buccaneers and Falcons at 1 o'clock. This is NFC South battle determine possibly it could be the division leader by the end of the year. You have Baker Mayfield, who had an incredible renaissance year last year, found his home in Tampa, incredible offense. Now you have a new look Falcons with Michael Penix at quarterback. Drake London is poised for a great year as number 1 receiver. It's in Atlanta. It's probably the most evenly contested game, I would say, in the 1 o'clock hour. So I have the Falcons as an edge with bias, unfortunately. I'm sorry, guys, but that's a bona fide competitive game to watch for any NFL fan.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of in a complete agreement with you. I love the Bucs and Falcons in that 1 o'clock slate for all the same reasons. Penix, Mayfield? Does Penix step up? Does Drake London kind of break out? What does the defense look like for Atlanta, right? The defense last year wasn't great, and the offense was kind of middling. For the Bucks, you lose Liam Cohen. What does that offense look like? But I mean, you have Egbuka and Mike Evans and Bucky Irving, and Tristan Wirfs is back. The defense, man, they give up a lot of points consistently. But what does that look like for them, right? I think that's easily the best 1:00 game. I'm probably taking the Bucks in this one. I think the Bucks will take it. I just don't think Penix will figure it out in this game. Even though he's been a starter for a couple games, I still don't see it. As for the 4:00 slate, man, we got a couple bangers. You got Lions, Packers. You got Texans, Rams. Right? You got Seahawks, Niners. For my money's worth, I'm going Lions, Packers. Right? Especially if Micah Parsons plays. You're looking at a brand new Packers defense going up against this high-flying Lions offense. The Lions lose both coordinators, though. I'm really interested to see how do the coordinators look. Does the offense stay the same? Does Jared Goff have the same dynamic with Amon-Ra, or does Jameson Williams start to overtake? Or does Sam Laporta get more involved? Does Jahmyr Gibbs fully overtake David Montgomery as the starting running back? But for the Packers, Jordan Love wasn't all that great last year. But you add Matthew Golden, you have Josh Jacobs, you now add Micah Parsons to the D-line. The world's kind of your oyster. You went from being maybe the third or fourth team in the NFC North to now the favorite in a matter of one player. So for me, I think the biggest game of the 4:00 slate is Lions-Packers. And for me, I'm probably taking the Lions in this game just because I don't think Micah Parsons will play in this game, unfortunately, due to, I think, the back injury. So I think the Lions escape the first Micah Parsons outing and will walk out of Lambeau with a win.
This is a great and even matchup game similar to Bucks Falcons, and I think that the Lions are probably the more complete team. I would say with the line has Penei Sewell, they have Goff, Gibbs, Williams, St. Brown, Laporta, and else defense you have Hutchinson, you have Kirby Joseph. It's a lot of guys that it's a very complete team. I would get the edge to the Lions in this one just because of the amount of weapons and also depending how Parsons plays. But that's gonna be a fun NFC North battle that could possibly be a part one to a two-part series, this season.
Yeah, I just think the NFC North, you're just looking at fight after fight after fight after fight. Just everyone's fighting to get to where they need to go, and this NFC North is going to be a rock fight.
Or as Seamus says, banger after
Bang.
banger after banger. So it's me legit. My pick for 425, I'm gonna go with the Texans and the Rams. I'm really excited about another year of CJ Stroud. They made attempts to beef up the offensive line. Nico Collins is supposed to be a projected wide receiver one fantasy lot for a lot of people this year. So having him, and it is a question mark with the running backs with Mixon out early first 4 weeks, but hopefully if Dameon Pierce or William Marks step up could be exciting to see. On the other side of the ball, you have the Rams, and Stafford's kind of banged up back, but he's going to be playing this week and having Nakua without Kupp, so you have a new kind of offense. Williams is still there. It's going to be a fun, I guess, generation battle between old versus new with Stafford versus Stroud. I would give the edge to the Rams, but I definitely could see a nice shootout, though, between the offenses in this game.
Moving on to the Sunday night game, Ravens versus Bills. What a treat to end Sunday night with the Ravens and the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, what more can you ask for, right? I think when you're looking at this game, the Bills always find ways to win. The Ravens, when they kind of step into these bigger games, always find a mistake that happens to themselves, self-inflicted wound. Last year was Isaiah Likely's foot being 3 inches too big. And, we talk about the Mark Andrews drop in the playoffs. And, for the Bills, they seem to step up to these moments, especially at home. And Josh Allen plays, otherworldly. You got a battle of two MVPs here now. I'm taking the Bills. I just like Josh Allen too much. I think Josh Allen's so good. I think while the Ravens defense is much improved, I think Josh Allen will still pick and find his pockets. I think he continues to grow year in and year out. But this game's going to be a classic. It's going to be a banger. I think the defense for both sides, I think the Bills defense really has to be ready because I think Lamar is going to have a couple big runs. I think Derrick Henry is going to lean on him towards the end of the game. But again, I think it comes down to a Ravens self-inflicted mistake for why the Bills will come out on top in this game.
I love NBC Buffalo night games. You have the Niagara Falls B-roll there. You have the thousand Buffalo fans rattle with their Buffalo lights up their tables. It's a fun visual to watch for a night game from Buffalo. It's probably the most highly coveted game I would say, and for an opening season and for a while I think with these both start-starter quarterbacks. The Bills, they also just add Gabe Davis. They'll have Gabe Davis elevated probably to the roster. They'll have him, Shakir, Keanu Coleman, Josh Palmer as a receiver trio or quartet with Dalton Kincaid. James Cook is back from his crazy 16 touchdown game last season, 16 touchdown season in 2024. The defense, they paid Terrell Bernard, they paid Christian Benford, they paid Greg Rousseau, so definitely invested in their defense for the next couple of years.
Added Joey Bosa.
Joey Bosa on the edge, incredible. Trey White has a nice locker room guy to have better leadership for the team. This is a team that got better this year, I think. So on the safety, they have Tara Rapp and Cole Bishop and Dar Hamlin. They're okay. Give me the Bills by a little edge. Maybe it's hard field goal, a little edge. But I'm going with the Bills.
Love it. Monday Night Football, we got, I think, just the Bears and Vikings. J.J. McCarthy's official NFL debut. First season of Ben Johnson. Second season of Caleb Williams. You can list all the storylines. Selfishly, it's the Vikings. I don't think the Bears' issues have been totally alleviated. I think the Vikings' defense is still really good. The Vikings' offensive line is going to be really good. They added Thielen, which is going to be great while Addison is suspended. But McCarthy has the best situation to step into. He has a 1-2 punch at running back with Jones and Mason. He has Justin Jefferson. He has Adam Thielen. And now he adds TJ Hawkinson. And then in week 4, he'll get Jordan Addison back. I think, again, you get that nice, beautiful Chicago skyline and everything that goes with it. You hear Joe's, when I'm back in Chicago, feeling. You'll have that playing. For those listening, listen. Enjoy it. You love the singing. I know. But I think Minnesota walks out of this one. I think Ben Johnson's going to have to take some growing pains as a coach. And I think we're going to see the Caleb Williams experiment not go the way Chicago wants it to go in a week 1. Caleb has no more excuses. He has Kmet, he has Loveland, he has Odunze, he has Luther Burden III, he has DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson, DJ Moore, and Kyle Monangai with a decent offensive line, a pretty good defense. And if you can't win games, it's the quarterback. But for this game on Monday night, I think the Vikings come out on top. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to have some troubles. I think we'll probably look at an interception or two. But I think the sum of the parts is going to be enough for J.J. to overcome that and for them to walk out of Soldier Field with a win.
And I agree with that. The Vikings are the better team on paper. But I think the Bears can make it more closer than they need to be, though. I think they'll make an impact win this first game, not win, but show what Ben could do with this offense, with Caleb, with Burden, with Odunze. It's a fun offense to think about in a couple weeks. It's to see what the first looks, though. It could be fun to see what they could be, though, for their offense in the next couple weeks. So I'm excited to see what that possibility could be.
Well, Drew, we're going to get the NFL back. We're going to get a ton of games back. Kind of a short little preview, I would say, in terms of what we normally do. I think we did a big NFL preview last week. So if you're interested in some of that, listen to last week's episode. We're just, again, touching upon the big 3 as we can. I mean, there's so many good games. I mean, I can't wait to see what, the Jags look like in this first game against the Panthers with Travis Hunter. I mean, you're looking at a new Steelers team. You're looking at Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback and DK Metcalf. Like, how bad are the Saints going to be? How good is Drake May can step up? Is the Geno experiment going to work out in Vegas? Is Daniel Jones like that decent, or is the defense going to really carry the Colts? Bengals versus the Browns is going to be the Bengals. God, please figure it out. You have a lot of people relying on you, but I think it's a
You
good
also
week one slate. Listen, man, I'm gonna be on a shockingly enough, I'll probably be on a flight, and I hope they have TV on there, because if not, I have to miss like a good chunk of these games. But I wish I had an Octo box, because these games are gonna rock, especially when we hit the witching hour. Ooh, baby, this is gonna be
also
great.
Jake, thoughts on Bill Belichick's for
Trash. Gio Lopez sucks. That man went like 2+ hours without a completion, and I just know Bill was like, I can't get over this.
that pick six was ugly with capital U, man.
I just think TCU is that much better than UNC. You always have that first drive, though. That first drive was electric factory. I just think with Bill, you got to let him develop the quarterback. And it's going to take a while for Gio to develop. I just think Gio has so much to learn as a quarterback, but also I could also see him not working out, because I'm still convinced that Bill lucked into Tom Brady being who he was, and all Bill had to do was coach a defense, essentially, because he had the greatest quarterback of all time. I just think it was okay. I need to see a couple more games, because TCU was they were so much better, and it wasn't even close.
Josh Hoover, man, precision to a T.
He could throw, man. He's a really good quarterback in Big 12. He's really good. TCU is a dark horse. Keep an eye on them if the defense can stay healthy and stay competitive. They have the weapons to do it. But yeah, man, it's a grind. I just think for Bill, I think you just have to. I think you have to go back to the drawing board on that team, because that was very, very rough.
Yeah, all the stars. You get LT in the building, MJ, Randy Moss, Jordan was upstairs. Like it was a whole thing.
I'm sick of Jordan, bro. I want her off my screen. I think she's going to be the reason why, like, Bill sucks. Yeah, you can't, but conversation for another day. I mean, Drew, are we missing anything else? I mean, we're in September. Hockey's going to start up here soon, with some preseason games. We're going to get some NBA starting here soon.
We're
Listen,
also
once we start getting in the full swing of things, we're going to have so much content. We're going to break down the previous weeks. We're going to talk about the upcoming weeks. Can't wait. And I just think with the NFL and the storylines, I think you got to get 1 week into your belt to see the storylines and see where it goes and how do we overreact to things. Because, like, Minnesota could get smoked by Chicago, and we're sitting here like, is JJ the guy? Is Caleb Williams him? Is Ben Johnson going to be the next great Kyle Shanahan? And it's like, who knows? But any final parting thoughts?
our thoughts is that enjoy this first week of NFL football. We waited long enough. We've seen the Eagles win the Super Bowl championship. This is a clean slate. Teams like the Jags could make us noise this year. It's a clean slate. Watch your teams, enjoy it, have some nice drinks responsibly, enjoy this nice slate of NFL football, and make sure to listen to the D&J podcast wherever you can.
Couldn't say it better myself. I have been Jacob Prail. This has been a Swiss Army Knife, Drew McDonald. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow us on all platforms. We have been The Deal with D and J.